Let's move right into our next session. We're right on time. I'm very excited because I'm a very punctual person. This is amazing. It's 12:30 on the dot, heading into our second session at the Happiest You live event presented by CafeMom. I want to welcome Hilary Baumgartner. There she is. I can see you in your kitchen. Welcome, 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 Hilary. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Dana. Thanks for being here.
So everybody, let me introduce you to this amazing woman. Hilary is a food enthusiast and a food blogger and a food photographer who shares recipes and tips for both adults and kids that are really rooted in this delicious, because I've been looking at your recipes, honey, at your delicious and healthy plant-based lifestyle. And I think it's so important, you know, we all need more plants and vegetables in our life. And I love how you work them in a very easy breezy way. You're also a wife and a mom of two. And in this session, you've titled it, Turn Busy Mornings into Better Ones with 7 Simple Ingredients. I need that because I feel like a short order chef a lot in the morning. Hilary's going to teach us all today how to make her signature go-to healthy smoothie. I know that certainly as a busy mom in the morning, we have to be in the car at 7:30 to get those kids to school on time. I need this kind of perfect smoothie that I don't really have to think about, but that I can feel good about putting into my body and my kids as well. Now, before I pass it over to you, Hilary, I want to encourage everyone here on with us to go ahead and follow her at Bomb Ass Foods, the best handle ever. It is spelled like your last name, so we're going to pop that in the chat, your Instagram handle. Go ahead and be sure to follow her on Instagram so you can get all this great healthy inspiration right on your phone and try out some of her recipes. And now I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's get cooking, Hilary.
All right. Thank you, Dana, for that awesome intro. Like Dana mentioned, my name is Hilary Baumgartner. I'm the creator and founder of bombassfoods.com. It is a food blog where I share recipes and other food content that inspires families to eat more plant-forward foods. Like Dana mentioned, I'm also a mom of 2. My oldest, Lennon, is almost 4, and then my youngest, Theo, is 6 months. So we got our hands full. I know a lot of you have more kids than that, but 2 is a lot for us right now. And just like my segment, as Dana mentioned, is called Turn Busy Mornings into Better Ones with 7 Simple Ingredients. But I feel like you could easily interchange the busy into chaotic, because if you're anything like us, if your house is like us, then there's a lot of noise and commotion that's going on well before the sun rises. And my husband and I talk often about how pre-kids, and probably for most of our lives, we considered ourselves to be like early birds. We were very much like early to bed, early to rise. We can get, a full day of work and activities in before 11 a.m. My husband gets up and runs every morning at 4:30. I don't do all that, but I can be up, at 4:30 if I need to be. But we feel like the whole phrase of being morning people really changes drastically when you have children that are also early birds. Both of our kids, as soon as their eyes open, around 5 a.m., they are ready to go. And, although we're awake, I'm not necessarily ready to go. So lots of noise, chaos, lots of things happening early for us. And thankfully, we both are able to work from home, so it's not like we're rushing to get out of the door. But my husband still has to clock in to work at a certain time. I don't have to clock in per se, but I'm most productive in the morning, so I like to get as much work done as I can first thing. So one of the best ways to kind of combat having crazy mornings for me is to make sure I'm getting a great breakfast in. We all know food is important. It fuels you. Personally, I think it should taste good too. But you know, pre-kids, our breakfast could look like, you know, a nice tofu scramble with some fresh veggies, homemade hash browns, you know, maybe some homemade pico. We always do the most. We cook all the time. Our kitchen is the most used room in the house. But obviously that does not happen when you have children. We make a meal like that maybe once a week for breakfast. So I had to really kind of like shift my thought process and be like, okay, I really want a breakfast that I enjoy. I want a breakfast that tastes good, but I have to adjust it to being a mom now of 2 young kids. So that's when I kind of really fell in love with smoothies. I actually fell in love with smoothies really just being like postpartum with my first son, because it was just really easy, and it's just make smoothies all the time now. And one of my favorite reasons that I enjoy smoothies being a mom is it's easy, it's quick, has very little cleanup. You mean you clean a blender, you clean your cup or whatever you're drinking out of, maybe clean a straw, and that's it. And then if you're having to put out multiple fires in the morning, which, I mean, who else is putting out lots of fires in the morning? I know we're not the only ones. You don't have to worry about like having a hot skillet on, you know, on the stove and getting ready to like start an actual fire in your house. So that's why I really love smoothies. Also, we all know that, you know, we've heard the saying that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, which, you know, I'm not a dietitian, I can't confirm or deny that. But for me personally, I don't know how parents survive without breakfast. If I don't have breakfast, you know, I've been sleeping for 9-10 hours and I don't have anything to eat by lunch, I would die. I would be a hangry psychopath. And hangry psychopaths are not good for marriage, they're not good for motherhood, they're not good for yourself. So it's important that we are getting something like really healthy in our bodies in the morning and something that tastes good, okay? So with smoothies, I think, well, for healthy smoothies, I think a lot of people have this misconception that a healthy smoothie has to be like, okay, I have a big thing of kale and then I have like some almond milk and water. We're gonna put it in the blender, blend it up, and then you pour it in. It's like all clumpy and you kind of have to like plug your nose and chug it back. We don't do that around here. That's disgusting. No, we don't like to chew smoothies. Smoothies are not meant to be chewed, okay? And smoothies should taste good. You don't have to like have kale in liquid. That's nothing against kale, but there are definitely ways to make kale taste good without just like adding a liquid to it. So the recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you is my cashew cookie smoothie. 7 ingredients. It's kind of like, it's like having a nice dessert first thing in the morning, but it's not dessert. And my oldest son really loves it. He helps make my smoothies, you know, whenever he's in a good mood. It's just really easy to put together. So I'm going to go through the ingredients and let's get started. First, we have frozen banana. Frozen banana goes in literally all of my smoothies, and it's really just a preference for me. It's how I like to get my it's how I like to get my smoothies creamy and thick, and it also adds a nice sweetness to it. Sorry, I'm like looking at this chat. I need to not look at the chat. You guys are typing a lot of stuff and I appreciate it, but I need to like focus on this. All right, so frozen bananas make a nice creamy thick base. If you're one of those people that don't like bananas, that's okay. You can cut back on the liquid to make it like creamier, and then you can add a little bit more sweetness, like a little more maple syrup or a little more dates. Dates don't go in this, but you can add fresh dates too if bananas are not your thing. But that's, I mean, they go in all of my smoothies. And a tip for bananas, if you're banana people, check out your local grocery store, not like a Whole Foods or anything, not the specialty grocers, because I don't think they do this. I've never seen them do this. But you know, where they have all the bananas, usually sometimes they'll have like an end cap and it'll be like discounted fruit. And it's usually like fruit that's super overripe, like ready for banana bread ripe. Those are like heavily discounted. Like they'll have like a bunch of them for like 50 cents, if that, like a huge bunch. So when I see those, I buy them up so that I can get home and get ready to prepare them and get them in my freezer. And if you follow me on Instagram, I have a reels, like a video I did a couple months ago that shows how I prepare my bananas for smoothies. Okay, so we have bananas in there. Now we have about a cup of oat milk. I prefer oat milk right now in this stage of my life because I'm breastfeeding and I prefer fattier foods when I breastfeed. It just keeps me satiated longer and it just, you know, I can just tell if my son doesn't have any problem breastfeeding, eating, like he's anyway, you know. So I like oat milk. We also keep almond milk in the house. You can do cashew milk. If you are looking for like more protein specifically, then definitely do soy milk. So yeah, I got some oat milk in there. Next, I have a 4th cup of oats. Oats are also really good for breastfeeding if you're doing that. And oats are just a great breakfast. I mean, if you don't want to make oatmeal or don't have the time to, there you go, get your oats in there. I will also say, if you do not have a high-speed blender, then I highly suggest that you blend in 2 batches so that your smoothies can get nice and smooth. We don't want any chunky smoothies. So sometimes those, you know, those ninjas and those other blenders don't do as well as a job as the higher end ones. So go ahead and blend, like if you're at this stage, I would blend the oat milk, the banana, and the oats. Blend that first, then add the rest of the ingredients and then blend again. Okay, that's if you don't have a high-speed blender. Okay, next we have the cashew part, which is cashew butter. You can't see it so bright, but this is about a tablespoon of cashew butter. If you have cashew issues, I mean, this is a cashew cookie smoothie, but you can also sub for almond butter or peanut butter. It's obviously going to yield a different taste. I love cashew butter again because I like the high fat and it's my favorite nut butter. It's so buttery. Who doesn't love butter, right? And then for some sweetness, I do a little bit of maple syrup. There's nothing wrong with some sweetener in your smoothie. And I do about like a teaspoon or so. If you can also sub for dates, fresh dates. Yeah, and I'm looking at a comment right now because I do want to address this. Okay, it says, can you use fresh or raw cashews? You can, but I would suggest roasted cashews because it's going to yield like this flavor in here. Like I wish once you blend it up, like you can just smell it immediately. Raw cashews are fine, but if you could do roasted cashews, that would be even better. All right, so next we have some vanilla extract. And like the flavor pairing of the vanilla extract, the cashew, and the maple syrup, and then my final ingredient, which is cinnamon, it's just amazing. Like it is seriously the best flavor pairing. I do about a half a heaping teaspoon of cinnamon, but I have a cinnamon addiction. You can definitely start with less. And I mean, that's it. So this yields about like 10, this like right here is like 10, 11 ounces exactly. So you'll blend this up. I'm gonna act like I'm blending it up right now. I'm not blending it up in front of you because it's so loud. Vanilla extract, half a teaspoon or so. Sometimes I'll do a full teaspoon because I love it. So we're gonna pretend like I blended it up. And here it is. And I wish you could smell it. It smells like a cookie. You can top it with extra cinnamon, like me. It's so good. I don't like when my son wants to share this because I like this all to myself and it's nice and thick. If you don't like a super thick smoothie, like my son likes a more liquidy smoothie, then just cut back on the amount of liquid or use a less thick liquid. Like remember I used oat milk. I used oat milk, but you can use like almond milk since it's like nice and more watery. This recipe is in my, I also have like a new ebook that just came out. It is Bomb Ass Smoothies for Kids. So it has 14 smoothie recipes, healthy recipes. There's only one recipe in there that's like you look at it and it's physically green, but a lot of them have like greens and healthy add-ins in, because let's be honest, you know, if I'm making myself a smoothie because I need it to be convenient and fast and stuff, I don't feel like sitting down and making, you know, my son a big spread most of the times either. All right. If we can both have a smoothie, we can both have a smoothie and we can get on with our mornings. So the ebook is going to be in your email blast. It's also on my, it's going to be in the email that the production team's going to be sending out. But you can also go to bombassfoods.com and you can click on top, like on my top banner, and you can order it there. But in the email from production, you'll be getting a coupon for $3 off. So I would wait and look for that if you can. But yeah, thank you all for tuning into this. I think we probably got a lot of questions, so maybe Dana and I can go through those.
Hey, Hilary, thank you for that. I want to come over and get some of that. I'm hungry. Yes, we did get some questions. Let's talk about it. Let me go. I made some notes here. Someone brought up a question about those frozen blocks of, I think it's called acai. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I believe.
And so A, do you ever use acai? And B, do you ever, or in your ebook, do you have like a plan for women to sort of batch up ingredients in the freezer so it becomes just like no brainer, here it is, plop it in? Or is that not really the system that you practice?
It's not really the system that I practice. And in the ebook, that's really focused on kids and getting kids to enjoy the healthy smoothies. But I have had acai before. It's not my favorite. It's not horrible. I just prefer to buy, it's usually kind of expensive. So I usually just buy like the regular fruit, you know? Yeah. And if you have any fruits that are going bad, slice it up and freeze it, you know?
Yeah. And let's just talk vegetables for a second. I found that my kids ate vegetables when they were younger and I could make, you know, Hulk smoothies. It's green, it's the Hulk. And it was no big deal. And then they hit this age where they're like, we're on to you and we don't like it. Now, part of that could be a power struggle. I know it is, but what advice do you have there? Or how do you make things green? Or what's your take on incorporating vegetables in the smoothies as well?
So I'll say I can totally relate because my oldest, we thought we just hit the jackpot. He would eat like lentils and
then it changes.
Broccoli, all the vegetables. We were like, what are these parents doing with these kids that are just eating chicken nuggets all day? All right. And then he turned 3 and he asked for gummy bears. And you know, like, okay. So smoothies that's like why I created this ebook, because smoothies was the way like to get us to like stop stressing about food and like, okay, you might eat crap the rest of the day, but I know that you had at least one meal that had some good stuff in it.
Yeah.
So with green stuff specifically, I don't know. For some reason, my child doesn't mind green smoothies, like the color. So it's not really an issue. But my biggest tip for getting kids to like green smoothies is you got to add things that they like in it. You got to make it taste good. Like my kale and like water analogy, like when you know, they can right. Add a little bit of sweetener, not going to kill them. And then for the color, frozen fruits, specifically frozen blueberries. If you can find some wild frozen blueberries, they're pricey, but a big bag will last you a while. They turn your smoothies purple every single time.
Awesome.
Frozen cherries turn them pink every time. So
that's a great tip. Yeah, using color. I also find that when I get my kids involved in making things, I like my chances of them eating it or drinking it like skyrocket, you know, really.
They know what's going in there. It's not like some surprise. I mean, think if you're like in a foreign country and somebody just hands you a dish of food and they're like, eat it. You like this.
Right.
You're like, I don't know what this is. You know, that's,
We also just got another question. Can you add fruit to this cookie smoothie? Would you recommend?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, like frozen blueberries are like our staple in this house. So that's what I would do personally, but yeah, go with it. I probably wouldn't do like pineapple or anything too citrusy. I don't know. Try it out. Let me know. You let me know. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Will you will you share this recipe in the chat?
I can type it out.
Yep. And also just tell us again how to access your ebook. And I know you have an offer on it too that's going to be included in the email. If you'd want to tell everyone right now about it too, we'd love to hear.
I can I can type. I mean, if you're on my site now and you're like waiting for the code, it's THY21, the happiest you, 21 like the year. But I will post once I get off. I will post the link. I'll post today's recipe, which is
awesome. Cassie's popping this all in the chat as well. Good.
Okay, perfect. So Cassie got the discount code and everything. So I'll put the actual recipe in there, but it's also in the ebook too. So
awesome. And you know what I love? I love that this is healthy. It's nutritious. You talked about healthy fats, but it's clearly healthy, and yet it still has this fun aspect of it because it's called cookies in the word. And so when I try this for my kids, I'm not even going to tell them it's called the cashew cookie. I'm just going to tell them it's the cookie smoothie, and I think they're going to be excited about it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Hilary.
Thanks everyone for tuning
in. Be sure to follow Hilary, get her ebook, make those smoothies, and then DM her and let her know which smoothies your kids like the best.
Thank you. And I'm going to get in and I will add that recipe.
Awesome. Oh, and Lisa's going to have that smoothie for lunch. Awesome.
Perfect.
Oh, thanks again, Hilary. Thank you so much.